Hello, my loves, coming in hot with day 12 of the expansion accelerator. And before we dig in, I just want to acknowledge you for yesterday. I had shared that, this truth of the magic that you're seeking is often found, not all the time, thankfully, luckily, but there are times absolutely. When what we're wanting, what we're craving, what we're looking for will only be found in what we're avoiding. And all of your shares just had me feeling so lit up and so inspired by what you were doing in real time and then the plans you were crafting in terms of next steps and your level of commitment to this process and to yourselves, during not only this 21 days, but beyond that. So I just wanted to start by acknowledging you. And speaking of feeling inspired and lit up, that is a big part of what I want to weave into today. So yesterday, I had a really powerful conversation with the women inside of Energy Expansion Academy. I go live every week for an open Q&A, and that happened to be yesterday. And a lot of what I said, I hadn't prepared, but it just came through and I could feel my energy expanding. I could feel my level of inspiration rising, and I could also feel it for the women who were receiving it. And so I want to share an essence of that conversation with you here. So at the time of this live program, we are nearing the end of the year. And so that is what inspired this. But what I'm going to share with you, you can think about this, you can do this any day, any time of the year. Okay. But there's a metaphor. I love looking at a year as a book, a 12-chapter book. And here we are in the last chapter of this year. And one of the reasons why I love the metaphor of a book is because a book that just doesn't drop out of thin air. A book comes to life because there is an author. And we've been talking about different pieces of spirituality and looking at the bigger picture and the higher power through different lenses. And I absolutely, just who I am innately, believe that, of course, one of the authors of our story is what I would call God or universe, source, Gus. What I also know, and we spoke about this on week 1, there is something that we were given called free will. And so you are very much a sovereign being with a lot of choice and a lot of say in your experience, your set of current circumstances, what your future holds. And so as we are nearing the end of this year, I want to remind you that you are the author of this book. There is still an entire chapter that is unwritten that you get to write. And so today, I really want you to think about that. And I want you to write down a few words of what this chapter is going to look like. When you get to December 31st and you essentially get to close this chapter, and in closing this chapter, you're also closing the book. What are you going to say about what you wrote for this month and perhaps even this year? Maybe this is a story of joy. Maybe it's a story of miracles, of clarity, of devotion, of expansion, of taking your power back. It can be all of those things. And I know I listed a lot of things, but there's a million other plots and genres and things that you can plug into. And so today, I really just want you to choose a few words. And if you want to go deeper than that, like I love my lists. I think I've shared that with you. I would literally make a bullet point of a few different words that would really help to define what this chapter and ultimately how this book ends, how this part of my story ends. But maybe just maybe you actually want to write out a few paragraphs about how this ends, how this year comes to a point of completion. So at the very least, I want you to think about a few words, a few defining themes, and I want you to jot those down. If you want to do the most, then you can actually write a few paragraphs, a few pages, really getting super crystal clear and specific of how this is all going to unfold for you, what you're manifesting, what you're dreaming of, what you're intending. Okay. And then the bonus is you really get to look at this and ask yourself, who do I need to be? What do I need to do to ensure that this month unfolds as closely as possible to these themes and to this vision? So that's what I want to share with you. I'm also going to drop in a link to a video. It doesn't necessarily have to do directly with this energy expander. If you've been in my world for a while, you've probably watched it. It's a video that I've probably watched 100 times, no exaggeration. Every time I watch it, I feel something in my bones. I feel this energy expansion. I feel this level of inspiration. I feel something within me rising up and bubbling over. And so today, again, is really about inspiration. It's about creativity. It's about you remembering that you have a say in the matter, that you're the author of this story, of this book, and there's a whole chapter that you get to write. And I want to support you in doing that from a place of unbridled excitement and enthusiasm and inspiration. So I'm going to share a link to this video. All right, Pod Squad, as we're wrapping up day 12, I cannot think of a better, more powerful way to close out this final chapter of 2025. And as we close out this chapter, as we talked about, we're actually closing out the entirety of this book. I can't think of a better way to do that than to have you join us at our DKC virtual VIP day. At this point, you know the drill, my love. We're just a few days away. Thursday, December 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can find the link to join us at the very top of the show notes. And you can also find a special code just for you that will allow you to save your seat for 50% off. If you have any questions, find me on social media. I love you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 13.